Dividend reinvestment plans, often called DRIPs, even though our guest hates that, can be a way for investors to get some of the emotion out of their stock purchases. In a DRIP, you put your dividends toward additional shares instead of cashing them in. Some companies will also let you purchase shares directly, bypassing brokerage commissions. Is this investment method for you? Well, joining us today is Vita Nelson, editor and publisher of the Money Paper. Give us a call with your questions about these dividend reinvestment plans. The number is 1-800-752-CNBC. That's 1-800-752-2622. Good to see you again.
Nice
you
to
do
see
hate
you.
the word DRIPs, don't you?
Well, I prefer dividend reinvestment plan, or DRP, as we refer to them.
The thing that's nice about them, I mean, obviously the dividend reinvestment aspect is pleasant, but to me, and maybe I'm out on Pluto someplace, as some have said, is that you can buy directly from the company.
I know, isn't it amazing?
Really nice.
That's right.
And you don't have to buy 100 shares or 50 shares. You can buy odd lots.
Well, if you're going to buy 100 shares or more, you might as well buy through a broker.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about dividend reinvestment plans is that you don't have to know whether the market is exactly at the right level to purchase. Anytime you get into the market is the right time, because if the market goes down for that share, for that company, you're going to buy more shares next time. If you invest regularly over time.
dollar cost averaging.
Exactly.
Yeah, on almost a share-by-share basis.
Well, no, but you're not buying shares. You're sending money.
Okay.
So if you send $100, let's say you decide that you're going to send $100
right.
Every month or every quarter to a certain company. We recommend that you establish accounts with at least 10 different companies in 10 different industries. So let's say you decide that you're going to send $100 or $500 a quarter. If the stock is selling at a high price, you're not going to be spending you're not going to be buying a lot of shares. So later down the road, when you're looking at how you invested, you're going to see that most of your shares were not purchased when the price was high. Most were purchased when the price was low.
I just picked up Disney crossing the ticker here at 55.5. Now, if I send $100 in,
Disney doesn't have a dividend reinvestment plan anymore. I wish they would.
Chrysler, do they have one?
Yes.
42 and 5/8. It just moved. If I send them $100, that's going to buy me like 2 and some shares.
Exactly.
Now, what's going to happen to the balance? I'm going to actually have 2 shares.
No. You're going to have 2.227 or however many.
Okay.
Out to 4 or 5 digits.
Okay.
So that's how many shares you're going to buy, depending on the price of the stock. So as a matter of fact, if you're in an accumulation stage, and if you are looking to your retirement, you're really happy to see these great companies' stock move down because of emotions in the market or whatever.
A buying opportunity.
And you're forced to do it in a sense, because when every fiber of your being is saying, let's get out of this stock, if you have decided in advance that your strategy will be to keep investing over time, keep sending that money, you're going to do it, and you're going to end up a really fortunate man at the end.
Some companies, and I mention Exxon only because I got the paperwork from Exxon, you can deal directly with them.
Exactly.
Other companies have certain rules and regulations.
Well, most of the companies
have to already own stock, for example?
Well, these are benefits for their shareholders. In other words, they have said, if you're a shareholder of the company, and a shareholder can be just own 1 share of stock.
Right.
But once you're a shareholder, you can have access to the dividend reinvestment plan or optional cash investment plan, think of it that way, simply by telling the transfer agent that you want to become enrolled. Actually, the shareholders relations people.
All right. Now, as far as you're concerned, what you folks will do is for a $15 fee, because you're doing this on a collective, cooperative basis.
Only for our own subscribers to the Money Paper. We will help them become enrolled in any company that has a plan, virtually any company, about 800 companies.
And then I want to get to your calls. I know you're waiting. What's the best way to do this? You mentioned 10 companies in 10 different industries. We had a guest on the other day who talked about security risk versus market risk. There's always market risk, but security risk is when you are in too few stocks. Anything can happen to any one given company. Is 10 enough to negate security risk?
I think 10 is enough, depending on how much money you have to invest. You want to be able to accumulate a round lot sometime in your lifetime, you know. So it really depends on how much money you have. 12 would be better. I think the more diversification to a reasonable extent.
All right, let's talk to Richard in Florida. Hi, Richard. You're on with Vita Nelson.
Hey, Ted. Good listening to you. And I have a question. It isn't exactly in the DRIP area, but I wonder, can you commingle 401 and IRA type of investments, and of course use the DRIP analogy for investments? Could that be done?
Well, you can invest your proceeds from your IRA. You can even invest in the name of your IRA. In other words, you can get a custodian to open an account with any of the companies, of the 800 or 900 companies that have dividend reinvestment plans that take optional cash, and you can do it in the name of your IRA with a bank or whomever, whatever financial institution, acting as custodian, and then you instruct if you want a dollar cost average, you instruct the custodian to send money on a regular basis. I think that's a great thing to do with your IRA.
What about right out of your checking account? Will they just...
You can't do it out of your checking account.
Not for an IRA. I'm just saying for
yeah, there are a number of companies that we list in our guide to dividend reinvestment plans.
There, what, 831 is it? Or
about 870 companies in the guide. But then there are only, I'd say, about 15 or 20 companies that will automatically take money out of your bank account.
Okay.
What a wonderful thing that is. So you really are forced to keep investing.
You have to send it in, though. But theoretically, if you bank by mail, bank by computer, could you just program your computer to just send it?
Yes, absolutely. Just send it out. You know, decide on the frequency that you'd like to invest.
James in Florida. No, is it Alabama or Florida? Florida. Hi, James.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
It's in regard to, can you get a list of companies with a low get-in fee?
With a what, sir?
Will you send a list of companies with a low or initial startup fee?
As a matter of fact, I can send you a list of companies where you can get directly into the company. You can just, they can call our office. Shall I give the number?
Sure, what the heck.
And we can also send a list of every company that has a dividend reinvestment plan if they'd like to have that.
Will you give them that for free?
Yes.
All right, if you'll give them that for free, we'll give your number for free. 914, is that the number you want to give out?
No, we have an 800 number.
Which is?
800-388-9993.
All right, that's 800-388-9993. You get the list free. 800-388-9993. Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
George in New Jersey, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is, do I have to make a certain initial investment in order to be able to enroll in a dividend reinvestment plan? Do I have to make it through, let's say, a broker? Can I just purchase directly, even if it is one share of the company?
There are certain companies that you can purchase directly. And there are about 23 of those companies, but you have to have a minimum investment, usually of $250 or $300. Otherwise, you need to have a single share of stock. So we help our subscribers get enrolled with a single share of stock, or they can go to a discount stockbroker and buy a single share of stock.
I know Exxon, and I only keep mentioning that because in preparation for this segment and when we did before, I sent away for literature. Exxon requires a $250 minimum initial
right, and then after that, I believe it's $25. Right. But you can also get into Exxon with a single share of stock.
If you do it through you folks.
Or through a stockbroker,
okay.
yeah.
Rita in Illinois, hi.
Hi, Ted. Great show.
Thank you.
Vita, I've been getting the money paper now for the past 5 months, and it's allowed me to get into about 5 different companies. What I would like to know is I'd also like to have IRAs in some of the companies. Could you give me off the top of your head the top 3 companies with dividend reinvestment plans that also have IRAs?
I can't remember all. I know Centuria Energy does. Our guide is someplace here, and I could look it up so easily, but I don't have access to it now. Call our office. Oh, but you must have a copy of the guide. It's available to our subscribers for $9.
Yeah, check the guide, and if not, give them a buzz at the office, and they'll get you one if you didn't get one when you subscribed originally. Jay in Arizona, hi there. Oh, Jay.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. How are you?
Good.
Thanks. I love your show, Ted.
Thank you.
My question was basically answered, but now that I'm on the air, I'll have, I'd just like to ask Vita, the tax ramifications on the dividends that are reinvested?
Good.
Oh, well, the tax ramifications are that you have to be really careful that you don't pay taxes on your dividends twice. Because, you know, every year the dividends, although they're being reinvested, you are being taxed. You're being sent a 1099 and you're paying tax on it. So when the time comes to sell your shares, you have to add back the amount of money that you actually paid taxes on. And so your cost basis is raised by that amount of money. So don't just think how much you invested in those stocks with cash investments. You have to add the dividends also and say, that's how much money I invested. This is how much money the stock is now being sold for. And the difference, of course, is your capital gain.
All right. Wynn in New Jersey. Hi there. It must be the Long Island Railroad strike that's getting the people. Wynn, you there? I guess he is not. What are the feelings of doing these dividend reinvestment plans versus just saying, hey, you know, I'm not going to be bothered, just going right into a mutual fund?
Well, mutual funds are very good.
A no-load fund, you know, where it doesn't cost
Well,
you.
sometimes a no-load fund is really even worse than a load fund. We used to say just, you know, invest in the no-load fund. But then when you take into consideration management fees and the fact that they could really outweigh after 10 or 15 years, they really do add up to more of your money going to the mutual fund management.
One question which is important, and that is in terms of liquidity, if you have a number of these and for whatever reason you need to dump them fast, what's the turnaround time and how long does that take?
It's really easy. What you need to do is get your stock certificated as soon as you've accumulated a round lot. If you think you might, if you're going really slow, you might want to get a certificate after 25 shares or 50 shares. But generally speaking, you know, once you have 100 shares, be sure to get the certificate, put it in your own safe deposit box.
And then they are negotiable on their face with the broker?
And then absolutely. You might even want to call a broker now with T+3 and find out whether the broker would be willing to hold your shares at the brokerage house.
Okay.
You don't have to
Always
run
a
down.
pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm going to give your 800 number again if you'll give folks that list of the companies. We've been talking with Vita Nelson, editor and publisher of the Money Paper, 800-388-9993. And a reminder, the advice given on Money Talk represents the views of our guests, not CNBC.